Hey everybody, Rob from Start Over Games here. This month marks the 30-year anniversary of The Legend of Zelda's release in the US on the NES. So I figured, since Start Over Games has been kind of doing a Zelda theme this month, that it would only be fitting that we do a playthrough of the original game. Of course, it wouldn't be something Start Over Games if we didn't learn a little bit about it, so if you want to bear with me for a couple minutes, there's just a couple things I want to cover before I start playing the game. So I have some slides prepared here that we'll go through, and the first one is this is The Legend of Zelda on the Famicom Disk System, and this was Zelda in its original form. A lot of people think or have thought that The Legend of Zelda was first released on the Famicom system, and that's not the case. It actually was released on the Famicom Disk System first. So to do a quick little timeline of how things played out, the Famicom was released in Japan in 1983, and that is essentially the same Nintendo that we got in 1985. Some slight minor differences, but for all in all purposes, the same thing. In 1986, Nintendo decided that they wanted to improve things. They wanted to, be able to do more with the games. They wanted to cut down on manufacturing costs. So they came out with the Famicom Disk System. And what that is think of it like Sega was to Sega CD. It's an add-on for the original system that plays these discs, like the yellow disc on the screen there. It's very similar to like a 3.5-inch floppy disk that, depending on how old you are, you may or may not have had in grade school and high school. They were rewritable. They had more memory on them than the carts did. Nintendo actually had little kiosks in like shopping malls and stuff in Japan that you could take these discs to, and you could plug them in, and there'd be like a list of games, and you say, okay, well, I want to play Excite Bike. So you pay $3, and then it installs Excite Bike on the disc. You take it home, you can play Excite Bike as long as you want. It never expired. You take it back, get something else. In a sense, it was like renting video games, except it was way ahead of its time, like Nintendo was at the time. So the second slide here is something on my personal collection. It's one of my favorite pieces of Zelda. This is a insert that was included in the Famicom Disk System when it came out. You can actually see on the bottom right corner, the white thing on top is the Famicom, the dark red thing on the bottom is the Famicom Disk System. I have no idea what the flyer says other than Hyrule Fantasy, but I'm sure it's saying, hey, this is a launch title for the Famicom Disk System, you should check it out. So then once Zelda was released in 1986 over here, this is what we had, and this is how most of us remember it, the gold cart, the gold box. The cart on the right, the gray cart, was released a little bit later on when they got away from the gold, but it is exactly the same game. And then this is the Famicom version of the game. That's probably hard to see in the picture, but if you look down at the copyright, it says 1992 Nintendo. So when you think about it, that's well into the Super Nintendo days. Super Nintendo came out in 1991. So what they did is they went back and released the game in cart form for the Famicom. Another giveaway on this is if you look at the title, you'll see that there's a number 1 on the end of it, which means that Zelda 2 was already out at that point. So that's all I got for that. Like I said, a lot of people thought that it was released on the Famicom, and it wasn't. So I'm going to start playing through the game here. I have a map slide too that we'll use. Just kind of some people can follow along if they're not familiar with the game. Grab the sword and then I'll pull up the map. So this is the map that would have came with the game. For those of us that were lucky enough to buy the game new, we would have had the map. For those of us who rented it, chances are we may have never seen this before, as rental copies sometimes never had the map, lost the map, or the map was destroyed somewhere. So we're headed to dungeon number 1 right away. There's nothing special we need to do. If you look at the 2 lakes in the middle of the map, the one on the upper right is actually the entrance to level 1. So that's where we're going to be headed first. So as I head that way, I kind of want to apologize to everyone. I thought, we had things running smooth with OBS, which is the software we use to stream on Twitch. We did Super Castlevania for Super Nintendo in October for Halloween, and it went really smooth. The problem is that I only did it in 30-40 minute increments. So when I started doing longer streams, OBS would be fine until about the hour mark, and then all of a sudden the upload speeds would start crashing on it, and we'd start dropping frames almost to the point where we couldn't even it wasn't even watchable. So I had to try to figure that out. That took me a couple weeks because it's not just something you can turn on and say, oh, it's working or it's not. You actually have to play something for an hour to see if it's going to crash every time you change one little thing. Well, to make a long story short, it was a port that needed to be opened on the modem. Once I did that, that was fixed. So I started streaming Zelda last week thinking, okay, we're good to go. And about 6 minutes into the first stream, my computer completely locked up. So I'm like, well, that's kind of strange, but maybe, just a bug or a glitch or something. So I reboot everything, start again. It goes for about 20 minutes and does the same thing. So I start playing around trying to figure out what it was. That turned out to be a display driver on my computer that needed to be updated. So once I got that done, I did a stream about an hour. Everything ran smooth, didn't drop one frame, didn't lock up. And, I finished doing the broadcast and I was going to upload it to YouTube because we don't have a lot of viewers on Twitch, which is fine, but I still like doing it live, and then I upload the videos to YouTube later on. And I got flagged for copyright for sound, so that's why the sound is super, super low. I apologize, but apparently the Legend of Zelda theme, Nintendo does not want people playing. So hopefully the only way I can get through this is to keep the sound real low and hope for the best. So this is the first dungeon. It's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. I'm just going to take my time and go through it. Try to get as many rupees as I can because we will need rupees later on to start buying stuff as the game gets a little bit harder. Just this quick. Sorry. All right, there we go. Nothing like starting out dying. Oh well. Too much talking and not enough playing, apparently. So this dungeon actually has two treasures in it, the bow and the boomerang. We're going to get them both. I'm off to get the bow first, I believe. So the old man shows up in most dungeons, dropping these hints that are sometimes pretty cryptic, sometimes not. Eastmost Peninsula is the secret. That's pretty much where the piece of Triforce is, and where the boss is on the right side. And once we get the map, I will show you, or it'll make more sense. I just haven't gotten the compass or the map. Oh, there's the map right now. So each dungeon has a map and a compass. The map shows you where you are and where you've been. Huzzah. Upper left corner shows that this dungeon is meant to look like an eagle. I can get into that a little bit more later. If I hit the start button and pull it up, it'll actually show what rooms we've been in. Actually, I'm going to get into it before I forget. Each dungeon is meant to look like something, whether it be eagle, a moon, different designs. And I had heard once, and I don't know if it's true, that the dungeons, if you were to lay them out, they would fit together like pieces in a puzzle, which is kind of cool when you think about it. I don't know if there's any truth to that or not. So this is the bow. At this point, it's pretty much useless. You have to buy arrows through a merchant, and then each time you fire an arrow, you lose a rupee. So you want to kind of use it sparingly. There are certain circumstances where you need it, but this early in the game, not really. I do think it's kind of cool that the first treasure you get is something that you need to beat Ganon at the end of the game. I think that's pretty cool. I don't know if it was planned out that way or thought out that way, but definitely cool. I think I missed the compass, so I'm just going to go back and grab it quick so we can kind of cover what that does. Alright, so here's the compass. And the only purpose of the compass is just to show you where the boss is in each dungeon. Or maybe it's where the piece of Triforce is. So you can see there's a red dot in the upper right corner, which just happens to be the eastmost peninsula. Go figure, right? These little guys don't really ever drop anything, so I'm just going to skip past them. Okay, so that's the boomerang. There's two levels of boomerang, 1 and 2. This is 1. Flies about halfway across the screen. The second one goes all the way across. The boomerang can kill the small characters like Bat, which is actually called Keys, and the little blobs. It can stun enemies by hitting it like I just did there and there. And then it can pick up items too, like rupees and keys. Now this room, when I was little and I played this room used to scare the hell out of me. I didn't... I'm going to wait and finish the story before I go in there, but if those hands grab you, they take you back to the beginning of the dungeon. Now it's the first level, it's not a big deal, but when I was little it seemed a lot more dramatic and than it was, or than it really is. So, yeah, that was scarier when I was little. Now it's just kind of a joke. So it's the first dungeon, first dungeon boss. I mean, pretty simple. I had full hearts, so I could just stand back and take stabs at him. And here's the first piece of the Triforce. Alright, so we'll pull the map back up again. Level 2. The best way to explain level 2 is if you look on the map and you go to the right side and go 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces from the right corner to the left, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 up. And you can kind of see it's a temple, and it's got like a brown border around two sides of it. That's where the entrance to level 2 is, and that's where we're going to head right now. Again, nothing we really need at this point as far as power-ups. It's not much harder than the first dungeon. Hopefully get some rupees here. Your shield actually does serve a purpose too. As long as the enemies are weak enough and you're not doing anything when the projectile hits you, it will actually block them. So in this case, it was the arrows, the Octoroks throw those rocks. That can all be blocked with your shield, just as long as you're standing there and not doing anything. Picked up some bombs, which is good. And this is level 2. I'm lucky. Usually when I get the timer, it's on the last enemy on the screen, and so it serves no purpose. For once, it actually paid off. See what I mean? That was stupid. I should have just used the boomerang. So there's the compass. And the map. So this dungeon looks like a moon. And I believe it mentions it either on the front of that map that I've shown you or the back. There's some hints and tips in there about the dungeons that are supposed to help you navigate through them. Oh. Alright. This is my least favorite room of the dungeon. This holds the level 2 boomerang. And I'm probably going to die. I usually die here at least once. Ooh. Alright, got it. Get out of here. Alright, so yes, this is level 2 boomerang, and as you can see, it goes all the way across the screen. That's really the only difference. It doesn't hurt enemies any more than the other one, and does everything else the same. So I was going to say that's like a mini boss, but we'll get back to him. reason to be in there. So yeah, this is a mini-boss, and the reason I say I think it's a mini-boss is because I don't recall fighting this thing anywhere else in the game. Let's see what's over here. Bombs. If I remember right, I think you can blow up this wall. Okay, Dodongo dislikes smoke. Dodongo is the dungeon boss for this level. And knowing what I know about how to defeat him, I'm guessing the smoke thing has something to do with bombs, because that's what you need to defeat him with. Could really use some hearts here. I'm gonna kind of wait for these guys to separate a little bit and try to isolate them so you don't have to dodge 4 boomerangs and just worry about 1. Alright, there's a heart. Ah. And he got me. Lots of rupees. Yeah, so this room is probably actually harder than the actual boss. There we go. This will make it easier. Okay, switch over to bombs. Okay, so this is Dodongo, which looks a lot like a Triceratops, and all you really need to do is just time it right so you, when you lay a bomb down, it goes right in his mouth. So we'll just kind of wait for him to line up here, and then place. There's 1, and there's 2, and that's it. I believe there is another way to kill him, but I don't know how to. I've always used that way. So I'm going to switch back to Boomerang before I forget. And there's the second piece of the Triforce. we'll go back to the map here. Before we go to the third dungeon, I actually want to get the first upgraded sword. So if you go look at the very north part of the map, there's like a pond in the upper right corner before all the empty white spaces. There's a little cave up there with the old man who has the sword, so that's where we're going to go first. And then we'll go to level 3, and I'll show you where level 3 is after we get the sword. And there's a hidden area right here. I'll get these guys cleared out first. These statues come to life when you touch them. If you touch them from the top, they don't hurt you. Excuse me. So just some rupees, which we definitely need. Take 30 of them any day. And we'll keep heading north here. And I believe we have to go around to the left and then up. A couple other things we can go over here while we're here. There's actually a hidden entrance right here under the waterfall. Basically, you pay her some rupees and she'll give you some hints, which we really don't need at this point. Ugh. Okay. So I'm trying to get this reset. That enemy that's up there is pretty tough, especially with the sword we have, so I'm just going to try to bypass him, which I just did. So now we have the second sword, which is just more powerful than the first. Try to see. That's okay. If you've been paying attention, you'll notice that some of the same characters are red and blue. The blue ones are a little bit tougher than the red ones, where I would have to hit the blue ones 2 times to kill them. Now I just have to hit them once with this sword. And I'm actually going to go back down around the other way and pick up one other thing before we head to the 3rd level. I think it's over here at least. We'll see. These guys still require 2 hits, but the Octoroks, I'm pretty sure, only need 1. So what's up here? Go a little more to the right. So what's up here? Not what I was looking for. I think it's right here. Yep. Okay, so this is, I think they call it just a note in the game, and what this lets you do is you can give this to the old woman, and then she will make you potions, which you can buy, and the potions actually restore half or all of your hearts, which is nice, because you can carry one with you when you go into dungeons, and if you do get low on health, you can use it and restore everything. So I'll pause it here and show you where we're gonna head. Okay, level 3. If you look at the bottom of the map, the very bottom row, and there's some green in the middle, the very left screen is, the left green screen is where the entrance to level 3 is. So we're going to make our way down there and knock that dungeon out quick. See what this is. Alright, so those are those arrows I was talking about before. Bombs, which we don't need, and a shield upgrade, which we really don't need right now. I'm actually going to save our rupees for a torch and the first ring, which will give us better armor. I think it's around 300 for the ring. Okay, so this is the old woman that the old man was talking about with the note. So we take it over to her and give it to her. This becomes available. I'm not going to buy any right now because we don't really need them. We're pretty early in the game. But this is a reoccurring thing now, so you can carry one potion on you at a time, and then you can always come back once you use it and get more from her. Really? Okay, so this is level 3. When I was little, I always thought this to be really weird because they changed the color palette on Link for whatever reason. So he looks a lot pastier in this level than he does anywhere else in the game. So without this sword, if we still had the wooden sword and we'd hit these bigger blobs, they would split into the little ones. So it's just nice because now they actually drop stuff, whereas the little ones don't drop any power-ups or rupees or hearts or anything. And they're one hit and they're done. These guys are kind of a pain in the butt. You can't hit them head-on. You have to hit them from either the sides or behind. Or underneath, I guess, considering that's how the game looks. Okay, so there's the compass already. The boomerang doesn't do anything to these guys either, so if you can, it's best to keep your distance. Wow. We're actually going to use some bombs on these guys just to help clear out a little bit. Man. All right. And they replace the bombs I use. Alright, so this is the treasure for the dungeon. Something every adventurer needs, a raft, apparently. Alright, so these flashing things, they don't actually take health away from you. They just stun you so you can't use your sword for a few seconds, which is nice, otherwise they would be a major pain in the butt. Let's see what's down here. Nothing. Okay. Okay, map. Oh yeah, I forgot what this dungeon looks like. I'm not gonna say it. I obviously it was not meant to look like a swastika. I'm sure it was so I'm not positive, but it is a symbol for something else, and I don't know what it is. Before it was a symbol of the Nazi Party. Even though you can't use your sword, you can still use your boomerang when those things hit you. Ooh, nice. Okay, so we didn't really cover everything. I guess we can go back and see what's up there. And we have the treasure, so that's the big thing to take away from every dungeon. Is it just me, or are we not getting any more than 255 as far as rupees go? Anyways, yes, this is just saying, did we get the sword from the dude up by the waterfall, which we just did. Without it, this level would be a lot harder, especially those knights that you have to hit from behind or the sides or the bottom. Wow, I really got hit by a bat there. Alright, let's go beat the boss and get out of here. Something interesting here too is you can hit him and fireballs start coming out of his flames. You can't defeat him or anything like that. It's just kind of a little Easter egg, I guess. Yeah, we are not getting any more than 255. Huh. I wonder if there's some kind of cap on it or what. Oh, we gotta do this again? Great. Oh, that was horrible. Crap. We should have saved some of the bombs, because they would have came in handy here. Actually, before we go finish this, considering we can't carry any more rupees for some reason, let's see if we can buy that ring. It's either down or up. Let's try this first. Meet the old man at the grave. That is a hint for the magic sword, the third sword that you get in the game. Okay, and there's some bombs, which we would eventually get. Okay, so good. The first ring is only 250, so we're gonna buy that right now. And then once we leave this screen, something's gonna happen to Link, and he's blue. So now he will take less damage when he gets hit. And there is another ring in the game, but I believe it's on like the 8th dungeon. So now we just need some bombs, which we'll probably pick up eventually here. I completely forgot that we needed to use those on the boss, otherwise I wouldn't have used them on the enemies leading up to the boss. There's some. All right. Oops, wrong way. That's really weird. I don't remember blowing a hole in that before. More bombs, which is good. Excuse me. Okay, so cool little story before I go back in and fight this plant thing. Miyamoto was actually designing both Super Mario Brothers and The Legend of Zelda at the same time, so some of the elements carried over. So if you look at this thing, it's like it's got 4 heads. The heads actually look like piranha plants from Super Mario Brothers, and I'm not gonna sit around and mess around in there too long, but just take a quick look as I'm fighting this thing and check out the similarities between the two. Wow, 1 bomb. That was pretty good. Okay, there's the 3rd piece of the Triforce. So we're cruising along pretty good. I might as well just go right to dungeon number 4. The only other thing we could probably get would be a candle, but we don't have enough. I believe there's 60 rupees. So we can always leave the dungeon and go get it. I'll pull up the map so you can see where we're going. The entrance to the level 4 dungeon is, again, if you look at the middle of the maps and the lakes, that are the 2 lakes there, this one's the left one, so the opposite of level 1 that we went to. And we actually do need the raft to get over there, so it was essential to pick it up, or to do these 2 levels in order. And there's not anything special you have to do for the raft. You just have to be on one of those little docks and move forward on it, and it takes you right there. Okay, so this is level 4. Excuse me. Now, the keys carry over from dungeons. That's why we have 3 already. We just picked up 1. And then in dungeon 2, we blew a hole in that wall, and I think that saved us a key, so... So this is where the we might actually need a candle to light up this room. It's kind of designed to be like a maze. You can probably still get through it. It'll just look a little awkward. Get these guys out of the way first. Alright. There. Oh, that's the compass. Yeah, I'm just gonna go back and go to the overworld and get some more rupees and buy that, because it's kind of annoying. I'll go the other way. Alright, so yeah, candle is 60. We're not that far off. Plus there's a spot over here that has a bunch of rupees. Interesting fact about this spot is I did not know about this until about 2 years ago when I was playing NES Remix. I did not know there was a secret door here. And there we go. Now we have enough. Oh, oh, he didn't even lose any hearts because of the armor. That's awesome. Alright, let's see if this thing works. This is a little hint of what the treasure is going to be for this level. I believe it's the bridge, which would let me cross this gap of water in the middle of the screen here. but we'll see, I'm sure. Okay, so there's the map, which we can't get at right now. If I would have known that these things came back, I would not have killed them all the first time. Okay, these coil things are kind of annoying. If you were to purchase the upgraded shield and get caught by one of these things, it would take it away from you and you'd have to rebuy it. And that's what we were looking for, the bridge. Or whatever it's called. I don't even know if that's what it's called in this game. So now we can go get the map. Oh, see, it does make it easier. Nothing you really have to do to activate that. Whenever he's on a ledge or by a ledge, he just places it. I think the map was to the right, if I remember right. Yeah. Okay. So we're getting there. Not sure what this level is supposed to be, supposed to represent. Oh, another one of these things. Nailed it again. Usually it takes me at least 3 bombs to kill those things, and then if you only destroy a couple heads, it moves faster. Walking to the waterfall, we covered that already. That's where the old lady is that sells you hints. Oh, I'm gonna get hit. Try that again. Okay, so we're to the boss. I'm not sure which one it is. And for reference, if you haven't played this game before, you can't just push the block while those guys are flying around. You actually have to defeat them all first before you can push it or slide it. Oh, okay. With the dragon. I'm not sure what his name is. I'm getting whooped. Oh, wow. We can try laying some bombs. That might help. Nope. It's kind of a pattern to it. Oh, well, now that just threw a wrench in my plans. I'm gonna leave the dungeon, try to get some hearts. The problem is the dungeon's mostly filled with those little devil-looking guys, and when you hit them, they break into bats, and the bats don't give you anything, so it's kind of hard to get power-ups. Or hearts, I should say. I believe there's a fairy fountain, too, not too far. Somewhere over here. We can head that way. Oh, come on. Okay, there. Don't even have to go to the fountain, I guess. So now the real challenge would be to try to stay at full health all the way up until the boss. So we'll see how this goes. Oh. Sometimes the bridge can kind of be annoying because it'll place in weird spots and you have to walk off of it the same way you walked on. Just out of curiosity, I want to try something here. Oh, nice. The reason I did that is if you look, there's whatever this is supposed to be. Maybe this blank room is supposed to be an eye or whatever. That's why I figured I'd try to bomb it. I honestly did not know that would work. I have played through the game before, but never did that. Oh, crap. Alright, not quite where I wanted to be with the hearts, but... probably not the best strategy there. I just kind of went for broke and tried to hack the crap out of them, and it actually paid off. I was pretty close to dying there, though. Alright, so I think I'm going to end it there for now. That's the first 4 pieces of the Triforce, so about halfway through the game. I was about an hour in, hour 8 minutes, so good. I'll continue this shortly. I want to get this done before December because I want to get onto something else, so you can expect another video soon. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, like us on Facebook. That's kind of our central hub for everything we do. That's where Start Over Games does all of their stuff. If you haven't already, subscribe to us on Twitch and YouTube. That would help too. We like new subscribers. The Facebook page is huge, though. That's where we do our contests, our giveaways, everything we have for sale, all the articles that we write, all the good stuff's on there. So thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you soon.